Hello there and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I have a very nice gameplay a bit later in the Panzer 2H when I drove it out in simulator mode, and I thought it's just such a good example of, my thinking and my reacting and acting, how to, avoid danger, how to be the danger, not just in the German tank in general, not just in a light tank, but overall in a tank, what my thought processes are. So I hope you give me a few minutes in, discussing certain other topics before I go into the gameplay, and then I can purely concentrate on the commentary of my gameplay decisions, which I hope is then a great help for some of you out there that have overall requested a bit of light tank guideline and how to help your team and how to overall look at the minimap. And simulator battles is still quite a bit different from tank RB, not just because of the lack of markers, but how it turns out with the danger of aircraft, and how it actually is then good, because it's so much more difficult to fly an aircraft in simulator than it is in RB. In tanks there is a difference, but it's not as big as the difference in planes, and so planes are not as much of a great danger as they are in tank RB, even though they have the same weapons and the mechanics are more or less the same. So Panzer 2H. I could talk hours upon how it compares to the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 234-2, the Puma or the Packwagen, which are nice tanks by themselves. It's a rank 2 premium German 2.3 battle rating light tank, and it also has the scout mechanic. So the 50mm gun, which is the next thing, it has its problems, but APCR helps out against very thick flat armor, KV-1s for example. And so positioning is everything, because the tank has barely any important armor, but it's not extremely paper either. It's paper but not extremely thin paper, I'd say. Just 3 crew members, and the reload of 5.9 seconds is pretty long for this gun. Yeah, so the horsepower to ton ratio, you have fantastic mobility, maneuverability. Top speed is a bit limited compared to the Puma, which in theory goes 90, but then is uncontrollable above 40, which you don't have really that much problems in this some sort of diet Hellcat. So before I show you the gameplay, I want to make you aware of a problem in simulator mode that I noticed, especially with those lower tier teams. Now I wanted to begin with 3 examples of this problem, and as you can see, I'm here on the Emperor's Garden map, or the Japan map, and I'm in the safety of being behind enemy lines. Now I'm here in safety of both the enemy team, because I think I can react quickly enough, for them, and there is a Panzer 3, and he actually noticed me being a German tank. I'm down to 2 crew members after having, done my ace, and I want to go into the capture zone to get some of my, one of my crew member back to be fully operational. So I roll down, and I get team killed by a Panzer 3J1, which I have seen before, but he didn't expect me coming from this direction, because this is the direction of the enemy spawn. So again, notice where I am. This is right at the start of the game, and I'm racing into my favorite ambush position, and I want to go up this hill and immediately sit behind the enemy to have the easy side shots, to be the big distraction. So I make my way up the hill, and I see nothing, I hear nothing, and suddenly something explodes behind me. And I think, wow, is there an enemy tank really that fast? I turn around and I get tracked, and I don't see anything. Another shell whizzes by. Are they already there? No, somebody team killed me. I was too fast, he thought I am an enemy. A third example, which is really funny, is here in the Packwagen. So this is also another game, again on the same map, and yeah, I want to get back one of my crew members again. So mostly I die in the capture zones or on the approach to the capture zones, not, you know, being outside there. So I refill ammunition and I see a Sturmpanzer, which I saved previously a few times. I write it in chat, don't shoot me, don't team kill me, Sturmpanzer. So I want to go around the corner, and of course he kills me. So yeah. Identify your targets, be aware of rare tanks, communicate to your team, and those are some basic rules. Yes, I'm a rather rare tank, but you know, I still have the German boxy style, and you know, you probably also best hide from your team. So this is now the battle that I wanted to show you. Exciting 15-16 minutes of gameplay, hence the video length in total. I wanted to just make you aware of this problem. We are on abandoned factory. It's a wide map, and so I want to use my mobility to go into C, or you know, to not go directly into C, but to go around it, wait a little bit for my team to move up, and you know, to also maybe intercept some lonely enemy tanks that are not fully embraced by the situational awareness. So, first Russian tank down. Or was it an American tier 5 medium tank? I'm not quite sure. I digress. Let's move on. So, I really want to use here the low ground and just want to make sure that I don't get spotted. And this is where the very first seconds of the game are important, where join in progress is a plague. And I use the binocular, which give me a few more centimeters of higher, well, view. And I see already a KV-1 being there. So despite the spawn points being advertised more to the south, he seemed to have spawned much more in the north. And yes, this is kind of a risky maneuver, driving here through the open on the flank, because if somebody pops up, I either have to kill him first, or yeah, I get killed, or I get crippled. And I breach here through the wall. I see that there is some action going on at C. I hear a lot of action going on. So is here somebody there? No. Somebody on the other side? No. There is a KV-1, but what is that? What the fuck is that? And we disable him with a shot in the turret. Now you can see here the gun breach was not damaged, but it doesn't really matter. The reload was quick enough so that it was an entire crew knockout. KV-1 from the rear, he has no idea we are there. Clean shot here into the neck of the tank, and we one-shot him. I'm quite sure he received a penetrating shot before that as well. And so we are now in the capture zone. But I don't stop there. Mostly you get killed in the cap. You advertise your presence through the enemy team, even without markers. If they know what the minimap is, if they can, you know, interpretate the blinking or non-blinking blue, red and white symbols with A, B and C in them. So I look into the general direction of B and I see nothing. Take your time, you know, gather all the information that there is, and I move on. And again, I want to go into the safety of going behind the enemy lines. This is where I am, you know, where I don't get team killed. And yes, that's a real issue. Those were just 3 examples. And I want to I want to now go into C, wanted to have a look over those concrete walls. This is a bit of a lack of experience. I cannot look over them in this low silhouette tank. Nevertheless, we move on. This bush would be a very good bush for an ambush. Okay, so I just wait here for a moment and I'm listening to my surrounding. I hear an aircraft. I don't see it. I reverse. just to get out of line of sight. Enemy 4 tank crashes, and he also takes out a tank in the kill cam. This is why I turned around for a moment. Before I saw that kill message, I thought to myself, wait, did he crash deliberately into a position where there was maybe a tank? I hear another aircraft. Wait up until the engine noise fades out. Okay, it is a Stuka with the 37mm gun pods. And again, I want to operate behind enemy lines. I have to say one thing. The driving experience with the commander's view is absolutely amazing. I love it. And what is that? Is that another Sherman? So again, first disabling shot, because the charge in the APE-HE shell is not good enough. We move on to have the flatter side, and we one-shot him. And again, we immediately relocate. Immediately we go out of the position maybe somebody has heard of. Maybe the Sherman has pinged the map for some of his teammates. I don't want to be ambushed. I want to ambush. So again, we then go over to A, because it's currently captured by the enemy team. So let's see what we can do about this. So, and then two things happened. C gets captured by one of my teammates, and then B gets captured by the enemy team. So I have to investigate. Again, this is now a dangerous situation, not just because of the enemy, but I'm coming from the enemy spawn point direction. So yes, they don't probably expect me. However, my team doesn't as well. And I see the exhaust pipes there, you know, the fumes or the smoke from the exhaust pipe, and I shoot through the wire, cable, drums, whatever, and I actually missed this lighting. The question is, did he know that I'm there? Did he realize that he was shot at? And I'm also decapping behind him. So there are the tracks in the water, and there he saw me. Then I saw him. Sorry about this. So I prepared the ambush shot, but I'm not quite sure if he reverses. So I looked behind me. There was a German Panzer F2, which I heard. I had to, you know, confirm this. And now there is the lighting. And watch that shot. Watch that engagement. Yes! I hit his gun barrel. He cannot really damage me with the machine gun. So I drive out in the open and we hit him for good. But he didn't die. And so we have to blow up his ammo rack. How uncivilized. And so we move on. So again, the capture zone gets decaptured. I want to move out of there. Currently, this is transmitting my position, my location to the enemy team. I'm a light tank. I don't give a damn about capture zones, because it's too early to secure them. I'm here to kill the tanks of the enemy team that are inside them, that are currently in the process of capturing them, and that are, you know, on the way to the capture zones. This is my job, not to actually fulfill the task. The rest of my team can do this. I'm here to clean up the flank, the sides, and so forth. So again, A gets captured, and I'm just by default in the raw vicinity. So here I make a little bit of a mistake. I see the enemy tank come from behind and I shoot him. Now his gun breech is disabled, and I shot before I went into the cap, so he actually could capture. Now this is not fatal at this stage of the gameplay, and he popped smoke, but you know, he had no chance. And we are decapturing, and immediately I go out of there. C is held by our team, so the tickets bleed down, and I expect the enemy team to know that one of their tanks was taken out. They could see the location when the capture zone flipped. This is how you use the non-existent markers and the thinking process of the enemy team against them. And so I want to use now again a little Jedi trick to just simply flank the flank and go through the middle. And I'm not quite sure where I should go. Again, the danger of team killing is imminent. There are not a lot of targets. I'm a unusual rare tank, So especially Panzer VF2s are very trigger happy. Planes are above me. You know, you could use also the sound of overflying aircraft and to hide your presence. And hello there. Well, that was a pretty lucky shot, and we end him there with a crew knockout. Good stuff right there. And A gets now captured by my team. So I intercepted a light tank that was on his way probably to investigate A or B. And again, I am completely changing my position on the map. And now I'm going back to the middle of the map behind enemy lines. So somebody pinged the map in front of me. This looks like that I'm thinking and just listening again, but in fact I was grabbing a tissue because of my cold. So not everything that you see should be taken completely 100% serious. Take it with a grain of salt. You know, so C gets decaptured at this point, so obviously we want to investigate, and again we come from the rear. And if this looks easy, it is. I do not confront the enemy head on. I come from the rear, from the side. I take my time with the disabling shot. I relocate all the time. And while I'm not really communicating that well with my team, I still have a pretty big influence. Capping wins games, but also killing wins games. Prioritizing is the magic word here to use. Making most use out of your tank. Some tanks are, you know, good at killing other tanks. Some tanks are good for flanking. And, you know, the enemy team has here now captured. See? So I'm driving into it and decapping it. So the enemy tank is still very close in the vicinity. There it is. It's a Sherman. And that shot was not good. If this guy would now be very good with his situational awareness, you know, looking where the capture zone gets decaptured, he would look into my direction, he would turn around and face me, and I don't want to go head on with a Sherman. But I saw that he wasn't looking there. I gave my turret time rotate, and again I disable him, but this disabling shot, due to how the turret was rotated, was enough to make it a one shot. So again we move out. C gets now captured by my team, which is fine. So again, I don't want to get in there. I would you know, transmit my location to the enemy team. And also maybe the tank in C is very nervous and very trigger happy. And if such an unusual tank like me comes around the corner, you know, it's team kill time. And I don't like that. And again, we go to the entire different end of the map. We again want to have a look at A. So you kind of see where this is going, right? Relocating, changing your position, operating behind enemy lines. This is what I like in my light tanks. And you know, you can do this in a Hellcat as well. In a Hellcat, you are at a higher battle rating, you have a arguably better gun, you have a 50 cal. So, you know, a lot of the issues that you have with this tank when it comes to the gun performance, you don't have. Now, it was not that apparent because, you know, I had the easy shots, but in a head-on engagement, especially with a KV-1, it takes a while up until you take him down. It just takes one shot for him to take you out. You have to switch ammunition, APCR, disable the gun breach, disable the engine, set him on fire, and aim for the MRX if he has the MRX in the turret. So there were some tracks and I heard the engine noise. This is why I did not go directly into A. Now A gets decaptured by my team. And so I was just driving around, and at this point, I realized I followed a blind track mark. You know, when a tank rolls over a surface, it leaves behind a trace or, you know, the imprint of the tracks in the ground, be it mud or even a solid surface like concrete here. So again, I want to go, you know, to surround here, and there is the Panzer 3, and maybe I heard this Panzer 3. So I write it in chat that it was me, and maybe he gets the hint. Because now I'm also marking the map, and that lets me drive into a wall. Now this could be a fatal mistake if an enemy would hang around, but gladly they don't hang around. Again, I look very carefully around the corner. Do I see any movement? Having a look at the minimap, having a look at the leaderboard, what's going on? 3 enemies alive. What is that noise? That sounded like a smoke launcher. Now, B gets decaptured by the enemy, and I wanted to actually turn around, but then A gets also captured by the enemy. I don't see it because he launches a lot of smoke. So how the smoke is deployed tells me where the enemy is and which direction he goes. This is experience. If you wanna smoke up, boy, I'm killing you in the weed, despite your weed generator. So I want to take him down. So I'm looking on the ground in front of me. Where are the imprints of the tracks in the ground? There they are. There he goes. Hello, sunshine. Have I ever told you how good I am at this game? And now, at the very late stages, I'm actually capping. Because I don't think that anybody can retaliate so fast, and just for some extra civil lines and some extra experience, and just, you know, for the good sake of it, also having captured 1 point. And that was the game. Yes. And see, the decision making, the constant relocating, catching enemies off guard, this is light tank 101, and I love it. And yeah, it might be a little bit of seal clubbing at lower tiers, but it was just such a perfect example, such a well-rounded game that got me 80,000 civil lines and 6,000 research points. There was the Mark of Distinction, Survivor Award, and many other medals, Punisher, and whatnot, you know, and all this adds up. And it was fun. I had a lot of, you know, heart bumping going on. It was exciting, and I loved it. And I just wanted to share this awesome game with you. Yes, I could show you, you know, high tier gameplay, troll gameplay, but it would be fun to watch. You wouldn't learn anything from that. But now the question is, did you learn anything from this particular gameplay? Did it give you insight in a particular thinking process? Let me know in the comment section. So just for my hardcore fans that watched the video to the very end, I wanted to show you this epic takedown of a KV-1 with a bit of failure in the beginning. So we have his flat side of the turret, and of course my 90mm go not through his 75mm of armor, because he was slightly, just slightly angled. And now he's panicking, he's driving away, he has no idea where I am. Again, I'm taking here a bit of a chance with this shot, but the shell ricochets off from the drive wheel or the tracks, and again he's angled just enough so that I have literally barely any effect other than making the drive wheel yellow. And now I'm thinking to myself, aha, I got you now. But I still have the APC shell loaded, and it doesn't go through the weak spot, because I aimed a few pixels too high or too low. But the KV-1 has now some problems with maneuvering between the two houses and the slow turret traverse speed, and, you know, having no neutral steering and whatnot. So I can take my chances. I have to clean the chamber and have to switch to APCR 150mm, especially for this tank. And we take out the commander and the gunner, but not the gun breach, although it's slightly yellow. So with this shot we have to make sure that we disable him. And now, after his gun breach is gone, I can easily take him down. So that is it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Again, sorry for the voice, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.